was it actually like working on this show specifically?
It's a great experience.
We need to give credit to the writers as well.
I was more than happy to, explain anything that we didn't understand.
It was really easy for me to channel all that energy because I am a producer.
Really try to understand why she does the things she does.
Once I put my mind to something, I get it done.
So hi, my name is Alithnaim, but if that's a mouthful, you can just call me Farida. So my questions are sort of interrelated, but also individual. So I'm going to start with Khosi. Khosi, your character Fikile is presented to us as this golden ideal girl, but the more we get to know her, we start to see some cracks in her well-curated facade. For example, in the scene where she takes advantage of her privilege to sell lemonade so that people can like her back, when she doesn't stop Chris from exposing Pulink's secret, having an affair with the swim coach. So could you talk to me about some of the choices you made in your performance as regards to showing us those less than perfect parts of Fikile?
Well, like you said, she definitely has this picture perfect image that she tries to uphold, but we see that it's got cracks in it. For me, portraying that, I guess, imperfection, I really had to dig into her mind and really try to understand why she does the things she does, and just how everything that happens around her affects her as well as those relationships. As for, I guess that's mainly how I did it, and also with the help of the directors who would help me understand her better by giving me some backstory that may not necessarily be in the series itself, to understand how things started, for example, with her relationships. And so just based on that, as well as trying to find my own, I guess, emotions that I can kind of relate to that she's going through.
Would it be possible for you to give us maybe one of those backstories?
Hey?
Would it be possible to share a backstory or two?
I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to do that. I think that's more of a question for the directors and the writers.
Okay. So my question now is for Natasha. You and Fikile come from a lot of privilege, but you both approach it in radically different ways. So is there any particular person or a group of a composite, a set of people that you based Wendy's character on? Because Wendy I found to be extremely intense, and a lot of times, even though I agreed with her ideology, it was sometimes a bit challenging to hear the message because of the messenger that it was coming from. So did you base this on one person that you decided to observe, or a specific group of people?
When it comes to finding Wendy, it was a conversation that I had with the director, Mosiko Dumisa, on set, in terms of being very intentional in how she says things and when she says things. So she doesn't push it a facade, I believe, even though she comes from privilege. And also her finding her voice throughout all of that. And we were so intentional in making sure that, okay, we've seen that person, we know for Wendy in class, and even though her intentions are questionable, she truly believes that what she's doing is right. And that's when you see her growing into her own. And that's why we don't want to push stereotypes, so that people see themselves through Wendy and all the other characters on the show.
So, Blood and Water has been said, it's not really based on a true life story, not directly anyway, but there are lots of elements that draw things from real events So knowing this, my question is, how did you approach this role? What kind of preparation did you do?
Well, in preparing for my role in Blood and Water, I, given the source material, the script, as well as the conversations I had with Nosipo and the directors, preparing myself for this role, I guess I also dug into myself and into, I guess, experiences that I've had, as well as observing other people that, I guess, are similar to Figile. And I guess, like I said earlier, the conversations with the directors were really helpful in helping me prepare for this role and really understand the character better. For me, it was preparing myself and also the world that Wendy is walking into, and not just being about Wendy, but also being aware of every character that is going to come together to tell the story. And during the shoot, it obviously raised a lot of topics around everything else that we speak about on the show, which is the LGBTQI community, the teacher and student relationship, and all those things. So those sparked a lot of conversations that was not just for the characters, but also for our personal awareness and whether political awareness or social awareness. But the directors, like Khosi said, helped us through finding our characters and the world that we stepped into.
And how would you say life has changed since the series has
It's been fun. It's been fun. We've all been communicating with the cast and the Netflix team and Gambit Films as well. We're all just so excited. It's been so great and humbling. But a lot has changed, obviously. And also we're trying to adjust to the new normal, which is no red carpet, no premiere, but actually celebrating it in a more grounded way and actually embracing this moment for what it is, and for an African child as well. So it's not about the glitz and glam, but the content that we just put out into the world.
What, if you had to give in one sentence, what does Wendy want out of life? And what does Fikile want out of life? In just one sentence.
Wendy is always seeking justice. One sentence, yes.
Fikile just wants to be seen for who she is.
Then, what aspects of your characters did you have the most in common with?
Do you want to go first?
Please. You go.
Okay. I can relate to Figile in, I guess, the way she always wants to do the right thing, and she always does what is expected of her. Growing up, I was also like that, and I can definitely relate to that pressure in a sense. Yeah.
I can relate to Wendy in terms of age not being a limit, having a voice, and being politically aware, and being part of all the conversations that young people, that our generations before and generations to come should be engaged in. And also just turning all of that into quantifiable action. And I believe that that's one thing that brings Wendy and Natasha together, having a voice.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're just right on the minute mark.